The India versus West Indies second T20I witnessed a very bizarre development. The game was delayed by over 3 hours, not because of a wet outfield, not because of any other unforeseen circumstances. The team's kit did not arrive at the ground. So, the India versus West Indies game saw no kit in St. Kitts. It was a really bizarre development, and today this is the major crux of the video that I'm going to talk about. These are the bizarre incidents that have delayed a cricket game, not by 3 hours, maybe half an hour, maybe a day. There have been some very bizarre instances, folks, where cricket has been delayed not by rain, not by bad light, not by wet outfield, not by pitch invasions or that kind. The first list that I'm going to give you about is something truly bizarre. You've heard of bad light stopping play, right? Well, what about this? Play stopped due to sun. Yes, folks, true story. It has happened not once but twice. In the ODIs between New Zealand and Pakistan and New Zealand versus India at McLean Park in Napier, there is a very particular instance when the sun is about to set. It comes at a very peculiar angle, and because Napier is east to west, the ground orientation, when the sun sets, there creates a eerie, you can say strange kind of glare at the batsman. They can't spot the ball. So that is why the incident between Pakistan and versus New Zealand and India versus New Zealand saw the game halted for close to 30 to 45 minutes. Yes, sun halted play in an ODI between New Zealand and Pakistan and New Zealand versus India, because McLean Park's strange orientation was such that when the sun sets, it throws a glare at the batsman's face. So he can't spot the ball. So you have to wait for sunset, and then after that you can start playing. Talk about the vagaries of nature. This was truly one of the most bizarre and very scary instances that happened during the Ranji Trophy match in 2017 in Palam between UP and Delhi. A sides that featured Suresh Raina, Ishant Sharma, Gautam Gambhir. At Palam, a car came onto the pitch. Yes, it went on to the outfield and it caused a huge uproar because security was lax in a domestic match. The BCCI were accused of not taking domestic cricket very seriously, and ironically, in a high security environment like Palam in Delhi, there was a security breach. Apparently, the guy was lost, and because Palam comes under the military complex, he had to be taken into custody and questioned. Talk about Google Maps letting you down in a very big way. Many people started joking that, okay, perhaps he was trying to look for a shortcut and Google Maps suggested Palam. But Google Maps, epic fail on that day. But it really showed that it was not a very pleasant sight indeed. And there were questions whether the BCCI was taking domestic cricket very seriously. We all go for a break and then we either get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, or we have a quick bite. Well, apparently one man's irresponsibility almost resulted in fire. Okay. Nathan Lyon. This happened in the Sheffield Shield encounter in Brisbane. What happened? Nathan Lyon went to get some bread and he put it on the toaster. He apparently forgot, and what happened? The burnt toast resulted in a fire alarm. The fire alarm meant that fire engines had to come and douse out the flame. So the Sheffield Shield match at the Gabba was actually stopped because firefighters had to put out a fire that was caused by a burnt toast. The greatest of all time could have actually set the Gabba on fire, literally, not with the ball, but perhaps with a burnt toast. This is truly one of the most bizarre instances that I've seen a cricket match getting delayed. During the South Africa versus Bangladesh game, test match in Bloemfontein in 2017, lunch was extended by 20 minutes, meaning one session was extended by 20-25 minutes. Why? The Bangladesh team did not get their halal food. Apparently, caterers, there were two different caterers for the South Africa and the Bangladesh team. South Africa got their food, but Bangladesh did not get their food. Why? Because the time printed on the menu, instead of 11, it came at 12:30. So the caterers came only at 12:30, and Bangladesh, in a rather odd twist of fate, they had to finish their lunch in 10 minutes because they had to get ready to be on the ground. Talk about how wrong timing, not with the bat, but also on the menu card, can result in serious complications. The Bangladesh team found it out in a really, really hard way, folks. The 1980s and in particular 20th century, India was still not up to date with the solar eclipse. It was going to be the biggest phenomenon of the 20th century. India was going to witness its first solar eclipse. Amidst all that, there was a test match at the Wankhede Stadium between India and England. The second day was going to be the solar eclipse. The BCCI really cared for the people. On the second day of the match, they abandoned it. They called it a rest day. Why? The reason given was, we are worried that the fans would directly be looking into the sun, and that is why we do not want the fans to have eye damage. And so the second day was given as a rest day. 87% of India saw the solar eclipse, which was a total solar eclipse. But a natural phenomena might have eclipsed the test match slightly. But Ian Botham ensured that he eclipsed India's fortunes in that match. Why? Botham in this match became the first player to score 100 and take 10 wickets. A truly sensational performance from Beefy. But solar eclipse abandons the play for the day. That's the first. Now the next two slides that I'm going to show you is about how cuisine and at the ground ensured that a cricket match could be delayed. A domestic ODI game featured Daryl Cullinan and Roger Telemachus going head to head for their respective teams. Cullinan hit a six that landed on a bowl of fried calamari. Now, what happened in that? The ball was piping hot, so they had to wait for it. Telemachus, after it got cold, he said he has to change the ball because it was too greasy. Now you can't alter the conditions of the ball. It has to happen naturally. The fourth umpire's box of balls unfortunately did not come at the right time. So play was delayed by 45 minutes because the ball landed in a bowl of calamari, and because it was hot and it was greasy, they couldn't play. You talked about calamari, right? And we talked about a burnt toaster. Here, a pot of gravy takes the cake when it comes to delays. Apparently, after the lunch interval, during a county match between Lancashire and Kent, there was gravy being prepared in a pot. Now, one of the chef apprentices of the associates who were serving lunch at that time forgot to take it off the gas. What would happen? The gravy caught fire and the entire dressing room was almost caught on fire. 2 fire trucks came and they extinguished the fire. It took 45 minutes for them to eliminate that fire. And bizarrely, the venue where it was played, the Kent County venue, it was the second time a gravy had caused fire. Talk about coincidences and gravy maniacs. So, calamari, a toaster, and a bowl of gravy. This explainer has really made me hungry, folks. So if you want to satisfy your gastronomic delights as well, do check out this video. And I'm also going out for a bite now. Thank you so much for listening to this video. If you are indeed enjoying it, press the like, comment and share button. We are also there on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And of course, press the bell icon when we go live so that you are also notified. Thank you, bye-bye, and have a great dinner.